Чё работает? Где? Все, запускаю. Ебать, с какой карты они начинают?
Sip and painted koala for Israel and
It's interesting because TYTY did. I don't think he was present for qualifiers. He didn't play a single map, so I'm guessing he just was not there. Mr. Potato, painted koala, and Sip were three of the main performers in the qualifiers for Israel. Although unfortunately, Potato and painted koala both breaking early.
Так, Fancy Lad не играл мапу.
But USA is going to an early lead on this and gonna see how long they can hold on to a few FCs in the early goings.
Yeah, a couple very early breaks there from Israel, but that trade from the United States, that double miss from Bosch and Fancy Lad will allow Israel a chance back in the early going. All the way through, and they actually have a chance to flip the score lead.
Это лучший игрок с ранее в мире. И он сосет на этом. Ректигон, ты больной?
Israel out in front. Hey, we've seen this with the United States before against a 30-second
Позорище.
But Mr. Potato is going to find a miss from Israel, so they'll be putting the brakes on the train as TYTY also goes down for Israel, so that's big. Only Sip and Painted Koala
Да тихо вы, они обосрались.
Up to 100k though, the score gap was going towards the Israel side, you know, in a decent manner. Kind of coming through this middle third of the map, the scores start to really get bigger and bigger. There goes Fancy Lad.
У Тайми
It's gotta be
миссия.
Sip holding though, that FC matching.
Ой-ой-ой-ой-ой-ой-ой-ой.
And that's right at halfway. You don't want to miss.
That's a brutal miss, yeah, close to the last third of the map here. And it is, as you said, Utami versus Sip. But the backing combo is on the favor of the United States. But that double miss is going to change things for Bosch and
Utami миссия, Utami обосрись.
A gap here. Looks like it's
Utami обосрись.
Yeah, there's really no backing combo for Utami on the United States side.
Utami, давай, проебай.
Both holding, oh my goodness.
Israel!
Everybody with the 5-0 picks in pick'ems is about to be doomed on the first map of the match.
And Utami is being traded by Sip in Israel.
Нет, нет, вижу.
Goes down. No FC, but is there enough time for Utami? I don't know. Coming into the closing sections of the map, can they steal it back from the Israelis? They cannot. Israel breakpoint 1-0. Pick'ems destroyed.
Oh my
Так их
god.
нахуй.
Alright, if you saw that coming, you're a prophet, I guess. United States drops their first pick as the 1 seed versus the 32nd seed Israel.
And Mr. Potato states in the chat, we got a point, that's all we need. Look at that mindset.
Какого вообще хуя происходит?
I mean,
Israel has already won.
Подождите.
You come into this match
А как вот лучший игрок в мире вот такой сране 2007 года? Наверное, Мапул не играли? Я практически уверен, что Мапул не играли. Пик Израиля сейчас будет. Это был пик США, если чё. Да это чё, с какого перепуга? Красавы! Вот они понимают, что надо брать. Надо брать самую простую карту. И самую унылую. Да, RO32 нельзя.
And it's really easy to just one miss in the middle, and all of a sudden your, 950k is 600k, and that can be the make or break.
Да не, это какой-то старпер, который миллион лет в Осу играет. Черт его знает, кто он. Да, они на говнине 2009 года их обоссали.
USA, I mean, they lost the 1 point against Turkey a couple years ago. They lost a point against Malaysia a couple.
Мне кажется, или Израиль сделал уже больше, чем Россия за последние много лет. По-моему, мы в США ни одной карты не отжимали. Или отжимали, но очень давно.
Picks to the 32nd seeds, because they've been the #1 seed every year there's been qualifiers. So whatever it was that was causing them to drop points to these 32 seeds, I thought, maybe they've sorted it out, but evidently that was just not the case. And Israel plucky
Мы одну или две забирали, но это было, по-моему, в прошлой жизни когда-то, не? Мне казалось, что это было в прошлой жизни, примерно, в году 19-18.
But now Israel with a chance to open things up here. and make a little history.
Да, когда-то тогда.
It's Nomad 1 for Israel. It's
Смотрим
Mr.
на мод
Potato,
1.
TYTY,
Собраться.
Sip, and Panic Koala. No substitutions against Utami,
Самая простая
Mongo,
карта в
2K,
пуле.
Taquito, and
Миснуть можно
Rectagon
на ровном
for the
месте.
United States. Just two
Ничего нет
substitutions
вообще.
there.
Yeah, this is the aim consistency roster for
Кто
the
еще отжимал?
USA.
Бразилия отжимала.
I think you would typically see Deca 10 in for this, but of course with him not being here, Monko is a more than worthy replacement, very good aim player. Over on the Israel side, it's the roster they ran on Nomad 1 in qualifiers with Sip coming, or with, TYTY coming in to replace Galog, who was actually their top scorer in qualifiers in Nomad 1. Which is a little interesting to me, but we'll see how it goes for him. This is a little higher BPM than most Nomad 1s you'd see in an RO32, so we'll see how the players handle
Ну,
it.
челы слева на таком не миснут, по идее.
An early miss from Mr. Potato is all that separates us right now. United States with a slight lead, but as we've seen from the previous map, an early miss does not mean anything.
Хотя черт их знает уже.
Midway.
После обосрамся
Yeah,
на
and worth noting is
предыдущий.
that this is the longest map in the pool, 4 minutes and 20 seconds. So there is a ton of time for things to swing back and forth. There's several sections of the map where your aim consistency really gets called into play. Obviously, there's a little bit of free combo just because there always will be in a song that fits in Nomad 1.
Не знаю, вообще не уважаю эту карту в этом пуле. Она не к месту тут абсолютно. По сложности слишком сильно выделяется.
Yeah, it's about a 30-40k lead here for the United States. Not a major deficit, but they hold it over a quarter of the way in. Sip is going to be finding a drop.
Sip
just a slight miss aim. And that is
Пиздец.
going to start to open things up a little bit more.
That's the sort of place, like I was talking about, you get those slight increases in spacing in the jumps, and you just under-aim ever so slightly, and there you are, your combo's gone, and you're 600 combo behind all of a sudden, and the United States is able to make an 80k lead
Да
out of
пули
it.
что угодно лучше этой карты.
Yep. Now already approaching 100k, but
Пикнули
still over
ДТ
2 minutes,
2009 года.
3 minutes remaining.
Я не помню, это
It's
какой,
quite a lengthy map.
ДТ2 или ДТ3? Чуть такое.
Yeah, looking at the accuracy, United States feeling pretty confident. You can tell they've only dropped a total of, I think, 2 100s versus 98 on Sip, below 99 on TYTY. So it's gonna help just a little.
На самом деле,
bit more.
если у них
Every
есть
bit
игроки
counts
на
when there's
какой-нибудь
not a lot
Nomad
in the
4,
map.
они могут отжать
Halfway
на
mark
рандоме.
here, so we're gonna pay attention for some
Там миснуть легко.
misses here. They
Если
can
им
be
повезет
detrimental.
просто,
One
то
thing to
могут.
note is that Mr. Potato's miss was very early, so Israel are
Но
essentially rocking
мне кажется, что это
2
неправда.
3/4
Таких
full
игроков у них
combos
нет.
here.
Yeah, he's less than 100 combo behind the FCs. So, like you said,
То есть,
really
что он
not the
assessает?
worst
Карта
case
вообще ни о
scenario on
чем.
that miss. It's the Sip miss that's the one that really does matter, and that miss
TYTY.
from TYTY. And again, a break at the exact halfway mark, especially on a Nomad 1.
Ну а что поделать,
is
если чела намного
extremely
слабее,
damaging.
намного.
Because it's not likely that we're going to see any misses come out here unless it's in the key eye in the latter half. And now Israel are basically going to need the United States to fall apart here to lose this deficit. Still possible, but they will need to see something soon as the US are still 4-way.
Yeah, I mean, any break can still swing this, but
Утами!
they're just
Позорище!
it's traded.
Позорище, Монко 2К! Позорище!
Gonna drop again.
Oh my-
Taquito drops.
Wait a minute.
Rectagon's the only one left. Here comes Israel. Wait.
Да
They're
прошла...
gonna have to hold out.
Да я отвечаю,
Yeah,
прошла инфа какая-то в войсе.
And this is why Nomad 1 is that really volatile slot, because you can break just like that at the 2/3, 3/4 of the way mark with a huge lead, and all of a sudden it's comebackable if your opponents are holding on to big combos or FCs, and you've got Painted Koala matching Rectagon plus
Это
Super Potato
3-2-2
on
или
that
чё,
near full
реально?
combo.
And
It's
Sip supporting.
It's 200k, it's coming
Не
back
успеет
slowly, but
догнать,
there
по идее.
should be enough time for Israel here.
There just may be enough
Taquito
time. Taquito finding another miss. That's
подкрученный.
going to speed things up a little bit. Now it is
Алло,
definitely doable. Taquito
они
chained the
нажрались
thing now.
или чё
Rectagon is the only
происходит,
hope here
алло?
for the Americans. Utami and Monko desperately trying to build some combo. Israel might be able to pull off another miracle,
Блять,
but
сука,
TYTY
чё ты миссишь? Ректигон, нужно миссить
It's not
срочно.
even, no, he's not the important one, though. It's
Ректигон,
Painted Koala on the
миссай.
FC, Mr. Potato on the near FC, Sip on a 1k combo. It's about to go over.
It's gonna get
3K,
close.
it's dropping.
Israel for the steal, for the 2-0 lead on the number 1 seed.
Oh.
They've got it. Israel, Sip drops. That's not the one that matters. Israel just needs to hold. And they have done the work. 2-0. Wait, no.
It is.
Now it is 2-0.
Ёбаное
By 15K
позорище,
to
команда
Israel. The
позорников.
comeback.
Какое же
I'm
позорище.
speechless.
Okay, now for sure there's no way anyone's pick'em for this match is left intact.
Yeah, it's gone. Anybody,
100% gone.
It's done. I don't even. I mean, this is why you pick Nomad 1 as a lower seed into a higher seed. That is the reason. That displayed everything about that sort of pick.
Вы понимаете, что в чате без нервов.
Israel just held the combos
Не-не-не, это просто шутка какая-то. Это же это не ласт состава. Это все челы из ласт состава плюс сваги свакстер. Просто эти люди не в состоянии пройти номод 6 звезд. Без всего. Как? Как? А что не забанили? Ну, мод 3, ну, мод 2? Ну, я отвечаю, Фалон, это либо 3-2-2, это подкрутка. Ну, смотри, даже если ты бухущий в усмерть пойдешь играть в ОСУ, в 6 звезд ты попадешь. А это игроки все мирового уровня. Они не в состоянии, типа...
USA picking free mod 2, which is the speed free mod, which is not the worst thing in the world, I don't think, for Team Israel.
Yeah, considering how they did on that opening round one double time,
Израиль США выносит, вот
but what the US are probably banking on here is now they've got to switch something up, right? This has gotten serious. They're down 2-0 to the 32nd seed. They need to change something up, more mod flexibility to maybe change the rosters and get more players in. But what I kind of don't like about this, T1G, is that allows Israel to do the same.
Блять, не достали его! Нет!
I don't know how to feel about anything in this
может,
match
не надо,
anymore.
может, блять, не надо этого чела
It's so hard to have a feeling about this match when it started off and just the script for this match, as expected, has been flipped completely on its head.
Ну, это классический, знаешь, чел, который 300 БПМ в одну точку жмет. Но он может миснуть всегда. Но он будет играть на 100% любой БПМ, вообще ему похуй. Но он миснет сколько угодно раз. Хоть на 10 звездах, хоть на 5. Но 300 БПМ прожмет, и они его достают, ебанутые. Его нужно ставить на 270, 300 БПМ карты только не. А на 5 звезд зачем его доставать?
Mr. Potato Sip again, you know, just kind of the lobby warriors staying in because they can play everything in this stage.
Они всем раскликаться дают?
You know,
Не, они на серьезке играют.
Also looking at TY again, did not play in qualifiers.
Сваги Сваксер жмет, Утами жмет. Текита? А что Текита играет 230 бёрсты?
I'm more concerned with how to pronounce that name.
Есть информация в чате? Текита разве игрок 230 бёрст?
I'm just gonna go with FX for now until we get...
Да понятно, что этот хардос он может ебануть. Там нету кого-то попизже?
Israel's got some great names for casters.
Мужики, давайте, надо выносить этих бомжей с турика.
Wow. USA on their own pick, overmodding to Oblivion.
And oh man, I don't know how to feel about anything anymore, man.
Блять, я переживаю за этого чела, он же обосрется.
You know, obviously the mod advantage.
Тут сложно.
If you're the US, you definitely want to overmod a little, right? You know, you want to play your skill gap.
Они реально все модов набрали?
But this is a little bold. Tommy on the HDHR. Maybe they're just looking to make a
Нет, тут большие
statement
круги,
and get
тут
some
большие круги
morale
можно
going
моды
back on their
брать.
side. Because I think that is what they need more than anything right now.
Yeah, I mean, it still feels so risky though to overmod even on an early stage pool. Like, just your margin for error drops by so much when you have you know, you don't have that no-mod anchor player who's gonna put up an FC. But
опять миснул.
On a map like
Плохо играет.
this, where it's, you know, CS3, so the hard rock isn't, you know, it's not making it like CS 6.5 or anything. It's not anything too terrible. And when you have FXXY really struggling in the intro.
Ой-ой-ой,
That was a pretty hefty drop there. Missed out a whole stream. US still looking good. Taquito is going to be the first drop for the US. They still have 3 FCs though.
Давай, Савада, пришло время обосраться. Савада, давай.
Yeah,
That's why
Так.
still struggling as Sawada trades.
Ну, у Тайми набрал
you know,
модов,
you know,
нужно
it's
отлетать.
probably the toughest mod on this map. I
Так,
think the
набрал
hidden, you know,
модов.
it's relatively dense at 230 plus BPM and
Блять,
air
как
at
Израиль
109.1.
хуёво играет, пиздец.
Sawada with the break as well. I mean, he's kind of unfortunately a little bit known for that sometimes.
Пиздец,
It happened in
блядь.
qualifiers and it happens here and there for him in matches where he'll just kind of find random breaks. But FXSY and Mr. Potato breaking means that USA aren't going to be uncomfortable.
Да не, у Тайми в кашеле, к сожалению.
At this point.
Yeah, this is a
На этом
massive score
закончилось.
margin, unlike the others.
На этом
This is now
закончился
over
цирк.
400k. SIP is going to be dropping, and this
Они
is
слишком
looking
плохо
like the
карту
first point for the
играют.
United
Эти
States.
челы, к
Still only
сожалению,
halfway
не
through,
тянут
though,
ее вообще.
but Israel just can't
Да,
seem to
да,
hold any
это раунд
combos
берут
aside
США,
from
что бы они ни
TYT.
делали, могут закрытыми
Yeah,
глазами
this map
играть.
is so consistently challenging in the
Чё он
same way,
делает?
right? It's all triples and quints with a couple of longer bursts thrown in that, like, it's a good predictor of how the rest of the map will go.
Да, алло,
Somebody
это
breaks,
самая хуёвая
you know, on
команда
those
из всех
patterns
вообще
early
на
on,
турике,
and
если
that's
вы не
kind of what
поняли.
Israel's doing.
Да самые
They broke early on,
фиговые
and they're
челы, которые
continuing to
квалы
have trouble
сыграли
in the
хуже
same
всех
fashion.
вообще.
And yeah, this one's pretty well out of reach. This is
Это просто
what we
такие же челы, как в
expected
чате
from the United
сидят,
States.
знаете?
Like,
Вот
this
это-
isn't even anything for them to celebrate. This is just what should
Это
have been
дефолтные
happening
челы
this
из
whole
чата.
match, ostensibly.
Yeah, they're going to run away with this one into the final quarter. The lead cut in half, but Israel will have a chance to respond to their pick and maintain a 2-point lead if they can convert it.
Yeah, the question will become, how
Там
do
у
you
половины,
respond to
небось,
this
1500
pick if you're
ранг,
Israel? You know, you
может,
got the break point, you got the
3000,
Nomad
хуй его
1,
знает.
but
У Тайми
what else
обосрался
kind
в
of
итоге?
fits? And I think
Бля.
the answer is probably going to be Hard Rock 2. If I had to guess,
чё это за
before the map has
позорище?
even ended at what the next one is going to be.
Алло, алкаши.
But USA bringing this one home.
0 ФК, да?
Honestly, like,
Серьезно.
It's a decent score. It's not an amazing score from USA. It's good enough to win by 1.4 million in this matchup, but I don't think they should be incredibly happy about that. They didn't have a single full combo.
Да, они, ну, ты же знаешь, они на сложных картах ебашат.
Definitely a rough one, but nevertheless,
Эти челы
it's good enough to
одинаково
get the
сыграют
job
и
done
простое, и
against
сложное. В
Israel.
этом
It is
проблема.
2-1.
Но... Чё они так блевотно играют, реально?
Yeah, you know, it gets the point on the board. It writes the ship.
Если бы они играли
for the
против
one
РФ,
seeder,
они бы сейчас 3-0
but
лежали,
that's
если
still
что.
not a performance that they should really be pleased with. Against a team that was a little more comfortable or confident on tapping, that would not have been such a one-sided affair. But we'll see what
Каких
Israel
баб
does.
завели?
Yeah, that is the question now. How will they respond?
Да, Мальжевский
You
с
mentioned they may
Польшей.
try Hard Rock 2.
У него там вообще нормальный состав.
Yeah, and the reasoning on that is just that Hard Rock 2 was tied for their best performance in qualifiers. It was not a 6.5 in qualifiers, so it was a little different style of map, but if they do feel comfortable with that kind of precision, and it's a little bit more of a basic aim.
Ooh, Hard Rock 1.
Okay, well, still in the Hard Rock pool, I was half right.
Yeah, I mean,
Ебать,
hey,
они
got
не на
that right.
очке, они хардрок пикнули
That's really
против
much
США.
to write home about.
Сложную карту
Hard Rock
достаточно.
1 is not your standard Hard Rock 1 that you would have come to expect from previous years, right? This one is not an aim map. This is pretty... It's a lot of tapping.
Да, могу сказать, что
it's
эти
kind of
челы точно не на
techy.
очке
It has
такое
some tech
пикать.
elements to it with the slider aim and the finger control.
Сложно,
So
может
that makes
быть.
it really interesting coming off the back of how poorly that DT3 or that DT3 Fremont 2 just went for Israel.
Чё?
You see Painted Koala coming back in for FXY on the side of Israel.
Понимаешь,
Flashy Man in the
32
lobby
место
for the
занять,
United
надо
States.
еще умудриться.
Rectagon as well. They wait 2 teammates.
33 не проходит на турик уже.
And a relatively short Hard Rock map here, just over 2 minutes in length. So
Yeah,
again, you see Israel maybe trying to pick onto the side of the shorter maps because the Americans just have not been as consistent today.
Well, that kind of goes both ways, though, right? I mean, the Nomad 1 was 4 minutes long, and it played
Да.
Israel's strength to the USA.
Кого они
wasn't
достанут? Они
as
достают
consistent.
Бушемена.
So,
Бушемен...
I mean, that can go either way. This one is
Бушемен, он же
relatively consistent,
R11
it's just
читает,
quite
насколько
short.
я по моче ему похуй читать.
I feel like this is kind
Но
of
это же не тех карт, а
risky,
карта на контроль.
but if you're comfortable with the pick as Israel, I mean, no reason not to go for it, I guess. You know, it's one of those where it's a team we're not as familiar with, and their skill sets aren't ones that we're quite as familiar with.
And at this point, you're in a situation that you probably they didn't even expect to be in themselves, honestly.
Вот так пойдет.
Israel at this point, you may just say, hey, this is the map we're the most comfortable on
Ниже
right now. We
или
don't
выше?
care how good the other team is. We just know this is what we can do right now. It's not a bad strategy.
No, and
Ну,
you know,
ебут они,
had,
вот так вот.
notably,
Уничтожают.
Hard Rock won in qualifiers.
Они
before,
зря
right?
это
It was
пикнули,
very different map,
абсолютно
but they
зря.
had Caden in for that, which I guess is how his name has been pronounced.
Они
so
пикнули
we corrected
сложную
on that one.
карту
And he is not here. So it
киберкотлетов.
forces the USA into a slightly less comfortable
Им нужно
roster
просто
for Hard Rock
контроль
one.
пикать
Obviously,
было.
Bashi, Rectagon, Utami will be fine on this, but Fancy Lad coming in for this type of map
Любую
is a
карту,
little
где
less common.
ничего не
So
происходит.
it's kind of a
Таких не осталось
a
почти,
fill
кстати.
player a little bit for the USA, and if Israel knows that that's what they're going into, that could also
Дальше
help
будет
explain why they're
отъебаться,
picking
что
this.
они развалят спокойно.
Well, here we go. Round number 4. Israel's pick, their second of the match. Fancy Lad,
Да,
Bashi
надо
Man,
было либо
Utami, and
фреймоды
Rectagon
пикать,
for the Americans against Mr. Potato,
либо
TYTY
NM4
Sip,
брать.
and Penny Koala for Israel.
Смотрите, что Ректигон делает уже.
And this one comes at you pretty quick and really doesn't let up.
Блять, Ректигон, ты реально пол не играл ни одну карту?
A whole bunch of slider aim. Not of the super difficult slider aim variety, but enough that it makes you sit up and take notice.
Rectagon and Utami now finding misses. Two early misses for the Americans. Fancy Lad is also got less 3 combos down for the Americans. But the act on the side of Israel is keeping the Americans in front. They're kind of struggling here, but they will start to take advantage once the combo builds.
Слушайте, может, ставки завезли
Yeah, that
все-таки
combo lead is
какие-то? Мы
already
просто про
big
них не
enough for
знаем.
Israel to take the lead.
Не, ну
I'm
это
really
иначе не
shocked,
описать просто.
Honestly, at the United States' performance,
Это-
Fancy Lad breaking again.
это реально не
Meanwhile,
описать иначе.
It's still a three-way FC over on Israel's side.
Ну,
Their
скажем еще,
accuracy
что
is
Израиль, походу,
really
замотивировался
not
как
helping them.
никогда
This
в
could be a
жизни
huge lead if
и
they
играет
have
эту
their
карту просто божественно.
Oh, TYTY in the slow section.
Ну,
That is
алло,
big.
ты
They
чё
still
мисснул
have
на
the
лоу-слоу
advantage on
парте?
FCs, but they're gonna have to go back to work
Ну ты
building those
дурак!
combos because the
Ты
Americans are
дурак!
rebuilding. TYTY once again struggling in that slow section. As you said, these bursts. And it's a short map. We're already halfway
Да
through.
нет,
Mr. Potato finding a miss, and now
поплыли,
here come the
поплыли.
Americans.
Карта слишком
Second half of
сложная
the
для
map.
них.
This section is like really difficult with the way those bursts are mapped. They're on top of each other, those quints with in these patterns, which is kind of why you saw Mr. Potato and TYTY both breaking.
Да
their
слишком
missteps as
сложную
well,
карту
so
взяли
USA is just gonna
просто.
run away with this now. It was a really nice start for Israel
Блять,
on this
Ректигон
pick, but just
продолжает.
not able to maintain it into the last third of the map, it looks like, unfortunately.
Yeah, they kind of fell apart right at that halfway mark where you don't want to fall apart. Bashi Man, the FC is going to go down for the Americans.
Ноль
Utami found
ФК,
this earlier as
кстати.
well, but one of them is traded.
С левой
by Mr.
стороны
Potato,
экрана
and there
0
is no
ФК.
combo for Israel. Running out of time. Final eighth of the map.
Yeah, USA is going to have this. Fancy Lad and Rectagon have enough combo that they'll be able to hold off Sip and Panic Koala pretty comfortably. Again, it's going to be, it's going to go down as a win for this pick for the United States. And as they say in golf, there's no pictures on the scorecard. But this is, again, the United States just not looking their best by any stretch of the imagination.
А почему они так плохо играют?
Yeah, it certainly was a rough one, but they get the job done. As
Почему вот
Israel
эти
just kind of fell
двое?
apart right at the
Это же
halfway
просто
mark,
шутники
and
какие-то.
that is what did them in. They had a great start.
Да, да,
Unfortunately,
да.
it's the finish that matters.
Если бы они играли
Чуть-чуть.
против любых других команд, кроме Израиля, их бы сейчас так...
Yep, 2-2 and back to the United States pick. So we're
Они бы отлетели.
back, you
Они
know,
бы
it's
отлетели
a
в лузера.
0-0, right? And now we just kind of have this best of 5.
Right.
And
Если бы
I
играли
believe the
против
United
кого
States was
угодно.
saying that they were pre-picking DT3. I don't know. I couldn't tell for sure if that was serious, but I would expect it to be after the way Fremud 2 went. DT3 is
Я надеюсь, они
another
сейчас
higher
сообразят
BPM,
пикнуть
fairly stream-heavy,
Номод 4 и
tapping-heavy
фреймоды
pick.
допикать.
So I think that
And yep.
leans into USA's strengths against Israel again. Yep, and there it is.
Наверное, вот это надо брать.
Double time 3 for the United States. Looking to gain their first lead of the match.
On the 5th map in the round of 32. Words that I didn't think I'd ever be saying, and yet here we are. So we go back to the
Мы
classics.
пикнули карту, где миснуть
Senya
невозможно.
DT, that's a really
Если ты жмешь.
OG sort of DT artist. We used to see a lot of Senya maps, DT1, DT2, DT3, any of them, depending on the song, can fit. This one of the highest star rating.
Серьезно, если бы они играли против Японии сейчас, эти челики, то они бы сосали в нулину причем. Они бы ни одно очко не отжали у Японии, если чё. Вопрос, они реально такие хуёвые в сейт-риде? Или они просто настолько... Или они разыграли... Или... А что, инвокер всех ебал вообще. Но он проиграл игру. Не хватило одного инвокера.
Let's see how it goes.
Пиздец.
Looks
Но они
like
в
US
тайбрейкере
like
играли. И
Swats
инвокер
Keto,
тайбрейкер не
Tommy,
вкашлял, проиграл.
Rectagon, Pretty standard tapping
Да, пиздец,
map
вообще невозможно.
lineup for the USA. Israel running Mr. Radio TY2I SIP. It was FXXY as the fourth player on the free mod speed pick, so we'll see if he comes back in for this one, and he does.
Also, we've been told that
А он на
apparently
мышке играет?
TYTY's name is pronounced Tai-Tai.
Which my
Makes
brain,
sense.
I mean, it kind of
Может,
does.
они как...
OWC
Может, они на
players
мышках
have
играют?
this habit
Или что происходит?
of making their names either very strange things or unintuitive things.
You need to change
Сейчас бомжи
registration,
за
so when
США
you register
играют.
for
Ну
this
смотри,
World Cup, you
это
have
сваги
to-
сваксти.
you have to type your pronunciation.
Oh my gosh, that would
И у
actually
Тами
be-
два лучших
that would
игрока их
actually be
страны.
really
Нет?
convenient. I mean, you know how like on NFL
А Савада
they do the
типа
player
круче
intros,
БТМЦ.
like,
Yeah,
you know,
yeah,
they,
yeah.
Потому что
they say their
жмет
name and the
миллион.
school they went to. We need, you
Или
know,
сайт также
Tai
рандомно.
5180, Israel.
Israel.
Alright, in we go. USA looking for the first lead of the match. They better do it, because that would be scary for them if they don't.
Ну, будем честны, с последнего OWC, который играл в БТМЦ, он научился играть лучше намного. Когда он играл в OWC, он мега хуёвый был.
Keto and Tommy coming away with SS.
А сейчас он получше намного.
For FXY.
That guy with those letters in his
Yes.
name that make it difficult to pronounce.
That
And
guy
of
that
course
just
he...
missed.
Yeah, there goes Mr. Potato as well.
Yeah, the one that missed. Yeah.
And there goes Tai Tai.
Yep.
Alright, so
So-
we've got SIP against 4. And
Not a
Ну
good
тут без
position for
шансов,
Israel.
походу. Тут будет без шансов.
this is how we
Слишком
expected this
простая
match
карта.
to actually go.
Да, да.
This is a return
Ну
to
тут
normalcy.
апстеп-парт есть.
for
МП
USA.
сейчас
A four-way
мистер
full
Савада
combo
поймает.
against one FC from the other team and a 400k
Ну это
lead
максимум.
at 1/3 of the way. Like, this is expected performance.
T1G happy to see some normalcy here.
I
But
mean-
you're absolutely right. This is what everybody was anticipating.
Звук
Coming
потише.
into this, we just got an insane round one from both teams on their first picks. The US now dominating here on double time, as most people kind of thought.
Ну вот и Кита
Yeah,
рофлит.
USA, you know, kind of built up their speed a little bit this year, adding Sawada to the roster and bringing Rectagon after his tournament ban expired. Tito did find that first breakus, but still pretty comfortable. Of course, Utami, a very solid speed player as well. You know, you lose Arison from last year, but bring in Sawada, which he's not Arison, but he can fill the shoes pretty competently on most things.
Крутите громкость стрима. В чем проблема?
It's proven that here, 99.41 AC FC.
Into the final quarter, it is
Израиль
only
душит.
a formality now. The
А
United
за
States
США играют алкаши,
up
которые
by
не
over
могут
1 million
пройти
points.
карты 6
Will
звезд.
most definitely be taking this
Без
one away,
джампов,
and they
без
will have their
всего.
first lead of the match at 3-2.
Yeah, and this is going to be maybe a 4-0 score here.
Я не
as
знаю, почему они
opposed to it.
такие-то
Tito
на
broke it kind of an unfortunate
спидкарты
point in the map, but
выпускают.
it looks like they do make the 4 million mark. Rectagon with a late break, but Utami brings things home with the SS as a player on, like with a pitcher on a
Но это
perfect game.
ожидаемый
You don't
проёб.
talk about it until it's
Так,
already been done,
где-
and he accomplishes that feat. And USA looking a little bit more like themselves on that pick.
3-2 they lead. Israel
А
now
это кто?
will have another pick.
Почему он не играет? Это же какой-то
Chance
новый
to
игрок.
tie
у
it
них.
up.
Почему они его не выпускают потестить?
Quite the performance out of
Вы знаете,
Utami
кто это
there.
такой вообще?
SS. We have not seen too many of those, oddly enough, this weekend.
I think we had one in
Ну хотя бы Утами поиграл.
Indonesia, Finland, I want to say. There was an SS, I
It
believe.
was Fuma, right?
I think that sounds right. I was
And I
about
think-
half awake watching that match. I
I
just
think the
remember it.
Gimmick
monocle
player.
from Singapore also popped off. I think he had an SS. But anyway, back to this match. Israel.
Короче, водонос какой-то, понятно.
So they've got no mod 4, all of the hidden pool.
Мне казалось, у них наоборот.
and
Игроков ДТ
one
нет ни
double time,
хрена.
One hard rock and 2 free mods. You have
they're-
to wonder,
Да, врубил
do they
большую
go hit-
область уже.
I-
Играя
Has not been
вовсю.
picked.
I don't
Oh,
think
what's that
you
смотрю
pick hidden
сейчас?
into the USA here. Qualifiers They lost Hidden 1 to USA by 1.5 million and Hidden 2 by 1.8
Алло,
million.
нужно пикнуть фримод.
So,
Додумайтесь,
I'm gonna say
фримод
you don't pick
или
Hidden
вот эту
against USA
срань.
if you're Israel. And
Фримод
it makes
или
you
номад
kind of
4.
robots.
Молодцы, молодцы, да, ее, правильно,
One.
правильно.
So it's the Alden free mod, which is the slightly uncomfortable aim free mod pick. This is kind of akin to it's a little more similar to the hidden one, right? Not
Сейчас все три мода
your
наберут.
comfy wide angle aim. It's got some linear jumps and such in it.
Да, кто ж знал?
I kind of would have rather seen maybe Hard Rock 2 than Free Mod 1.
Нет
but,
таких
you know,
правил,
it's a map you can
Фалон.
hard
Ты
rock
чё?
pretty comfortably,
Нету
so
таких старые
not the
правила
worst
с
case
модами,
scenario.
все то же самое.
Israel just didn't look great on the prior
Не,
free mod that
они просто
that was
набирают.
picked, though. So it's a little surprising to see them go back into that pool when they have players who maybe aren't, you know, like not a super comfortable mod roster.
We'll have to wait and see, because they did not overmod at all on the previous free mod.
Yeah, it was bare minimum one hidden, one hard rock.
По причинам,
Versus
что
USA,
США
obviously, all
рофлят.
four players picking
Или играть
at
не
least
умеют,
one mod,
непонятно
and Utami
пока
going
что.
hidden hard rock.
Это похоже на
This
сайт
one, I
Рид, плюс абсолютно
suppose,
похуй.
Maybe lends itself to just going one hidden, one hard rock more easily. I don't feel like that's necessarily true, though. So this is going to be an interesting one. I don't really know what to expect for the mods from Israel. USA could overmod again. You can go, or you can just go, you know, Taquito hidden, Rectigon hard rock, and have a couple of no mods on it.
США в следующем раунде, если выиграют...
Taquito, Tommy Rectagon against Mr. Potato, Tai, Sip, and Painted Koala. Israel have only made one substitution
Сингапур.
for, I think, 2 maps.
Не, ну они же не будут второй раз так руинить,
Bringing in
нет?
FXY.
It's interesting to me that Galog played all 11 maps in qualifiers, and he has not played a single map today. He is here. He joined and left before the first map started. That's very strange to see something like that happen. But obviously,
Ну, судя по тому, что мы сегодня видели, вот эти челы отсосут в следующем раунде. Если такой хуйней продолжат заниматься. Ну, узрим.
Oh, as expected, okay. Oh,
Все, сосредоточились. Это так-то карта Израиля. Карта Израиля. Нахуя они два хардрока взяли, вы ебанутые.
On top of the requirements for the United States, and just a single hard rock on top of the requirements for Israel. So it'll be a slight mod advantage for the United States, but if Utami struggles, that will put Israel up.
Тут R9. Тут не R8. R9 тут.
The overmod, as always, feels a little risky, but it worked out the first time around for USA, so obviously not feeling too bad about keeping that up.
Oh, very early mistake for Rectagon in those little bursts.
Yeah, first 20 combo. We get into the map proper, and you kind of can see these aim patterns.
Блять, меня пугает этот чел.
Angle, they're not linear, they're somewhere in between. And there are some of those, like that back and forth linear jump you just saw. It's a lot of patterns kind of like that. So it never really lets you get super comfortable with this style of map. And honestly, I feel like that favors USA over most teams, because they typically are a roster that's very good at uncomfortable aim.
And Painted Koala finding several misses, and another one right now at the start. So Tai also going to be finding a miss. That is 2 FCs down. The Americans still rocking basically 4, 3.5. Rectagon missed very
Они что, раскликались там?
3 5/6. Don't check my math. I have no idea. Yeah, Tai and Painted Koala are just not having a good time. They're straight up having a rough go of things, unfortunately.
Подожди, посмотрим игру.
Mr. Potato and Sip are keeping them alive.
Rectagon is going to go down, so that'll slow things up for the United States, but I feel like now, especially given that miss from Rectagon, it's really all on Utami, right? Because if Utami misses, that's going to be the most harmful thing for the Americans. But Tai and Koala continuously struggling is going to put this one out of reach.
Yeah, it's really a tough ask to try to come back in a map when you have a player at 93 AC that's not been able to build up any combo. And
алло, это челы из чата, у них...
It's unfortunate.
По 2-3 тысячи ранг каждого.
Very, very well, holding the double FC. But when you're against a triple FC on the other side, it's just like an insurmountable obstacle in front of you.
Yeah, and they are starting to run out of time. They are going to need like a double or triple miss to come out from the Americans right now. We're getting to the final third of the map, because that is over 500,000 points. They will not be able to flip it unless they get some misses.
And I just don't, even with misses, it would have to be a complete meltdown from USA at this juncture. You know,
не, похоже, USA это решили не мешать, не?
Hopes kind of alive until the point of no return, and I think unfortunately for Israel, that point has been passed.
And now it is gone. Mr. Potato with that miss is going to definitely seal it.
So USA, they actually just wanted to ruin everyone's pick'ems. They completely just. I don't know. I don't want to say through because you never want to make that sort of a, you never want to make that sort of baseless assumption.
До Израиля играл бы вместо двух Сильвер, будем честны, USA бы соснули хуёв.
Israel.
Если бы там сейчас Сильвер играл, они бы выиграли.
Though Painted Koala actually recovered okay, but with Tai having as much trouble as he did, like if you don't have a 4-man roster for an early round map, it shouldn't really be on your radar for a pick. And against a team that pulls out a triple FC, it never really made much difference anyway.
Ну, у него был бы лям.
Все
равно было бы неплохо. Было бы неплохо.
Well, what do we say, before that last pick, right? The hidden score discrepancy in qualifiers was
Там не хватило бы все равно.
Between these two teams. USA, I think with their top 2 scorers on hidden 2 in qualifiers, probably could have 2v4'd Israel.
Они R8 берут?
And then some.
Скорее всего, этих челов нет R8 игроков. Тут нет R8 игроков, наверное. Next Канада с какими-то LS-ами. Осуждаю, что LS. Заодно сравним, как играет Канада и как играет США. И кто в концентрации.
You are huffing some mad copium right now, my guy. I am here for it. I am here for it because, like, I would love for Israel to get another point, but I just don't really like their
Сингапур United States. И здесь пока матчей толком не было. Индонезия выиграла. Это следующий соперник наших, скорее всего, будет. Все основные матчи завтра. Сегодня будет Канада-Чили еще.
So this hidden 2 is a very straightforward map. It just happens
Я не проснулся на матче Индонезии. Я спал сегодня.
It's a classic Nissan area hidden, and I think honestly,
у Китая с Украиной плотный матч, непонятно, кто выиграет.
If it was going to be any hidden 2 for Israel to have any sort of chance in, it might as well be this one, where the reading component isn't quite as high as it might be in a later round with tons of perfect stacks and overlaps and things like that.
I think what gets me about this one for Israel
Но мультиплеер этого, я думаю, что ни у кого нет. Я думаю, они загрузят имполинк после окончания игры. Скорее всего, прогрузят. Или вообще на Вики только скинут. Надо на Вики посмотреть.
I wouldn't put it past them to be able to play this map at least to some degree, but what that degree is going to be the question. You see, Taquito, the hidden specialist, and you see Utami, who's great at reading, Bashi, who's partially on the team for this type of map. So USA's roster,
ну, смотрите, челы справа воспринимают R8.
Have to put up their absolute A game if they want to have a shot. But hey, they've done it twice, right?
Туту обосрется сейчас. Ой, ё-моё.
So far, everyone looking good. The U.S. just leading off of accuracy alone at this point. Utami does drop.
Utami, какой пас!
But that accuracy will be keeping the Americans in the lead for now. A combo advantage, though, is going to start to drag things. Israel in front. Quarter of the map gone. Tai. First miss for the Israelis.
And that was just a straight miss-aim, too. I mean, it was just a little back-and-forth jump pattern. And he may have misread it and thus aimed wrong. Hard to say exactly.
Да нет, тут просто слабо играет и все.
That was a really unfortunate.
Что вы ожидаете от чела, которого там... Еще посмотрим какой-нибудь ран.
So I mean, this is still balanced.
Look at these accuracies. Tai and Bashi both seem to be struggling a little bit in terms of accuracy. Tai just more so than Bashi, so we may have to keep our eyes peeled for a miss. Halfway mark coming up.
Ой,
Accelerator goes down.
Дурачок, не тильтуй, блядь, играй. Сейчас фантилат обосрется.
who was the one to break in the middle in the slow section on Hard Rock 1? It was Tai. Unfortunately, gonna happen to him again here.
Those slow sections with Hidden, man, they just give you a false sense of security, and you lose track of that beat for a split second, you have missed. And this accelerator going down now. It looks like Israel, they put up such a good fight here in the first half. Galag still playing phenomenally, as well as Mr. Potato. With a quarter of the map left.
Но игра на Мистер Потати и Галя.
Israel is going to need a miracle. They are going to need a complete meltdown from the United States.
А он все играет. Вот этот хуйплет, он любой R читает вообще, ему похуй. Он там R11 играет, и R0, и гиммики играет.
And with Galog breaking one of their remaining 2 FCs, that's pretty much going to seal the deal for the Israelis, unfortunately.
И Circle Size 10 играет.
That will do it. Israel, though, they came, they saw, they destroyed everyone's pick'ems. But the United States are going to come back with 5 unanswered and take this one away. 5-2, the final.
Да невозможно такими игроками США выиграть, к сожалению.
From Israel today.
Yeah, I am incredibly impressed by what we saw from.
Но они молодцы, в любом случае они молодцы большие. Отжали 2 поинта у USA. Отжать 2 поинта у USA, это надо... Я не знаю, что сделать. Да, вторую половину они хорошо сыграли, в принципе. Челы молодцы.